Hello, so welcome to the final week of the 50 stitches crochet along, and this week we're adding a border. So we're adding this border onto the outside of our squares. It's 3 rows, so it starts with this pink row here, then we have this middle row, and then this beautiful spiral outer row. So how do we make it? Okay, so for the first round of the border I'm going to be using a 3.5mm hook, and we're going to join into these single crochets in the middle here. So our border, we've got the chains, the 2 single crochet and the chain. We're going to join into this first single crochet with a standing single crochet. So I'm going to create my standing stitch and join into that single crochet with that single crochet, and then single crochet in the next stitch as well. When we get to the chain, you're going to make a single crochet around the chain, okay, and underneath that we've got the single crochet border, and there should be 3 stitches in here. So we're going to go into the second of those 3 stitches. I'm going to pull up a loop and make a spike stitch. So you want to pull it up as high as the single crochet around the chain, and then just complete the stitch and go back into the chain space and single crochet. Okay, and that is the pattern around the border. So it's single crochet in each of those single crochets, around the chain space, chain 1, then go into the middle stitch of the 3 skip stitches to make a spike stitch. Okay, so single crochet, spike stitch, and then another single crochet around the chain space, and you repeat that pattern across the row. So when you get to the space between squares, you're going to make a single crochet in the first 2 single crochet, okay, and then we're going to go over to the other square. Okay, so you leave that 3rd single crochet alone. Okay, so the other square, we have the 3 single crochet at the corner, go into that middle one, and you're going to slip stitch, and this just pulls your squares together. Then in the same stitch make another single crochet, okay, and then single crochet in the next stitch as well. So when we do the next row, that slip stitch doesn't count at all. Okay, you're only going to go into your single crochets and the spike stitch. Okay, and then we carry on the pattern. Around the chain, single crochet in that middle single crochet below your chain. Oops, you're going to spike stitch, and then around the chain again, single crochet, and then single crochet into both the single crochet of the interlocking border. Okay, and this puts a nice smooth edge on all those loops. So I'm just going to carry on down the square until I get to the corner, and then I'll show you what we do there. Okay, so I've got to the corner. I've done the single crochet, spike stitch, single crochet in the last chain, and I've done a single crochet in the first corner stitch. So in the second corner stitch I'm going to make another single crochet. Oops, I've made this one rather tight. But in that stitch I'm going to make 3. So we're going to sharpen the corners off. 2 and 3 into that middle one. Then in the next single crochet and make 1 single crochet, and that is the corner. So of your 3 corner stitches, you make a single crochet in the first one, in the second one 3 single crochet, and then single crochet in the third. So you'll have 5 stitches going around that corner. and then once you turn, you just carry on the same way. Okay, so I've got my panel and I've turned it upside down, and you also want to turn your blanket upside down, so you want the back of both facing you. And all we're going to do to attach them is use, oops, that's upside down, wrong way around. There we go. Got the blue down there. And all we're going to do to attach them is use the whip stitch. So I've got a good length of yarn, and we're just going to go stitch for stitch. So we're going to start in this corner stitch. This is where you've done 3 single crochet, and in the middle stitch of those 3 we're just going to join in, but not like that. You're going to join in the back loop only. I'll just put it through both. Very silly. Right. So we're going to whip stitch in the back loop only of the border, but I'm going to whip stitch into the foundation chain of the panel. And it is just stitch for stitch. So in the very first stitch of the panel, needle through there, and then we go back down. So we're going down, up, down, up. So down through the next stitch of the panel, and through the back loop only of blanket. And pull both ends tight. You need to make sure you pull this tight as you go, otherwise it's going to get too cumbersome to do at the end. It's just too long. So make sure you pull tight as you go. So I recommend doing this on a flat surface, otherwise you might not be able to pull as tight as you need. And you should have the same number of stitches in your panel as you do your blanket with the border on. So that should be 226 stitches. So it's stitch for stitch, attach through. Okay, so I've got a couple of stitches in there, but when you pull tight, you're not going to see that join. Okay, so I've only done a couple of stitches, but you can't see the blue on the front of that pink at the border. Okay, so that's going to join it nice and tight without that thread showing. And you just carry on like that all the way down the panel. Just stitch for stitch, up and down, until it's all sewn on. So once your panel's on, we can then do the next row of the border.